Lois' life in 3 words.
Lack of sleep, justice, and courtrooms. A 2.5-year-old girl was raped and she died in the process. So I was again appointed by the court to represent the accused in that case.
सोनिया जी से बात करते हुए तो लग रहा है कि बहुत ही वार्म एंड जेंटल हैं, बट जैसे कि उन्होंने बताया कि सीबीआई लॉयर रह चुकी हैं, क्रिमिनल केसेस हैंडल कर रही हैं. डज दिस टोन चेंज इन कोर्टरूम, मैम?
I think we are very close to the time when we'll be celebrating a men's day rather than a women's day. I think we are doing well. And we don't need any special concessions, and I'm one who's absolutely not in favor of any reservations or anything in any category, because I feel that we are doing well against all odds, so we're fine. My briefing lawyer was told ke, are you sure अगली डेट पे मैडम को ही लेकर आना है? No, because I couldn't match the voice from the other side, couldn't match the volume from the other side, and there's a reason why I didn't, because I didn't feel the need, क्योंकि मुझे मालूम था कि आज कुछ नहीं होना.
Sonia ji, welcome to Bharat Literature Festival. Men are today graduating from leading law schools and they are working at the junior level to their male counterparts in the legal profession. But do you think there is equality at the workplace in the legal profession and later in higher positions as well?
See, so far as the initial stages are concerned, I would completely agree that there is a slight discrimination, there is a slight handicap that a female lawyer faces in the beginning, and that is mostly because of the perception. Girl hai, raat ko der tak nahi reh paegi. Girl hai, after some time I teach her everything, she'll get married and she'll go away. Jor se nahi bol paegi. Especially in the trial courts, ye baat bahut zyada. I mean, I can share a personal experience with you. There was a hearing in a matter where the case reached towards the end of the court day. I was 100% sure कि कुछ नहीं होगा आज, so I just was there. And जो bare minimum मुझे थोड़ा बहुत बोलना था वो बोला, and I didn't feel the need that I should open all my cards because I knew आज कुछ नहीं होने वाला. So जैसे ही बाहर निकले, I was still a senior counsel. So the concept of senior counsel is that I'm briefed by another lawyer. Technically, I have nothing to do with the clients and I'm engaged by lawyers. I could overhear. My briefing lawyer was told के, are you sure अगली डेट पे मैडम को ही लेकर आना है? No, because I couldn't match the voice from the other side, couldn't match the volume from the other side, and there's a reason why I didn't, because I didn't feel the need, क्योंकि मुझे मालूम था कि आज कुछ नहीं होना. But that was also taken against me. So I agree there are certain biases which a women lawyer faces, but I think that earlier the concept used to be that a courtroom is sort of boys area, boys
Absolutely.
club. But it's changing. The narratives are changing and the girls are doing phenomenally well. And I think we are very close to the time when we'll be celebrating a men's day rather than a women's day.
Bilkul, to celebrate women, we are today have so many stalwarts from the field of literature, legal. Then we have you as well, Sonia ji. But when it comes to judiciary, we have this stereotype image in our mind, a male court. A male collared court and a male entering into the court. How do you feel? Though women are taking significant strides in the legal profession, but there are many challenges. How are you embracing these challenges with opportunity? And is it tough for you to take tough decisions when there are cases of heinous crimes, there are cases which are not women-oriented domain?
See, I'll tell you, one thing is that you're right about the odds that a women lawyer faces. And there are certain instances, a century back, women were not allowed to practice. But there was a lawyer by the name Regina Guha. And she was a qualified lawyer, daughter of a very well-established criminal lawyer. But she had to file a writ petition in the court to take permission to practice. And why? Because the act which was prevailing at that time in person, but it did not include women. So therefore, she was denied right to practice. Similar thing happened with another lady. She was also denied. It was Konolia Rabji, was the first women lawyer in 1923, I think. Then there was a change in the act, and that's how the women were allowed to practice. So taking from there, I think now, today, we are looking for a women Chief Justice in 2027. So I think we are doing well. I always say that despite all odds that we started with, I think we are doing well. We don't need any special concessions, and I'm one who's absolutely not in favor of any reservations or anything in any category, because I feel that we are doing well against all odds, so we're fine, you know. And so far as this biases when it comes to heinous crimes are concerned, that's also correct, especially when, you know, you have crimes such as rape and murder. I mean, I have been a part of such cases myself. I have done them myself. But yes, it is taken as, you know, it's better to have a male lawyer than a women lawyer.
And the stories of lawyers and judges who have blazed trails through the exclusionary system, and then they have inspired subsequent generations and to don the robes. Who do you think you have been inspired with, and who were the trailblazers, according to you, who have set the tone today?
See, so far as I'm concerned, I'm thoroughly convinced that I think so. As far as the women are concerned, we certainly owe it to these three female. One is Regina Guha, and the other is Sudhanshu Bala Hazra, and then definitely Cornelia Sorabji, and then we had the first women judge. So therefore, legal fraternity, so far as women are concerned, owe it big time to these three women who opened the doors of legal practice for women.
जी सोनिया जी, एक और टॉपिक है जिसको लेकर अलग अलग ओपिनियन है, अलग अलग नज़रिए हैं, और आजकल वो टॉपिक बड़ा हॉट टॉपिक बना हुआ है, मेंस्ट्रुअल लीव. जोमेटो और स्विगी जैसी कंपनियां हैं जिन्होंने एक दिन की पेड मेंस्ट्रुअल लीव दी है. कानून क्या कहता है? अगर कानून के प्रोविजंस पे जाएं, प्रावधानों पर जाएं, तो क्या मेंस्ट्रुअल लीव देने का अधिकार कंपनियों को देना चाहिए, और अगर एम्प्लॉयज़ मांगते हैं तो क्या कानून में amendment की ज़रूरत है?
See, this is not something which we can say that, you know, one size fits all, that all the companies should be made, or all the startups, or all establishments should be made to do this, because this will have even negative repercussions. वो ये भी हो जाएगा कि हर महीने, you know, तुमको तो छुट्टी देना पड़ेगा, you know. So people will be little conservative in even hiring women, which will have counterproductive impact. So that may not be also the right thing to do. In fact, this issue had also traveled to the Supreme Court. Let me just share that judgment with you. There was so Supreme Court was also of the same view. Some people said that it should be done. There was a petition filed in Supreme Court asking for menstrual leave should be made mandatory, and everybody should be given this. This was Shailendra Mani Tripathi versus Union of India is the name of the case. But Supreme Court also declined to sort of interfere in this, and they said this has to be left to the individual establishments to take a call. Because I also personally feel that if this is made mandatory, then this will have negative and counterproductive impact, which may not be the right thing for women also. I mean, this will be taken as a handicap for women, which is not right.
एक व्यक्तिगत सवाल ये भी है कि इस पोजीशन पर आने पर आपने कई स्ट्रगल्स तो सहे होंगे, कई चैलेंजेस भी देखे होंगे, कोर्ट रूम में कई बैटल्स भी झेली होंगी, ये ज़रूर होगा. और इस ट्रेडिशनल माइंडसेट के साथ, जहाँ नायाब भी कह रही थी कि शादी को बहुत तवज्जो दी जाती है एक उम्र में, उस उम्र में लॉ की फील्ड में आना, आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट की एक बेहद ही वरिष्ठ अधिवक्ता बनना, अपने आप में एक बड़ा चैलेंजिंग रोल आपने लिया. ये जर्नी अगर आपसे संक्षेप में जाना चाहूँ तो कैसी रही?
See, हमारी society में, as Nayab also mentioned, that we are brought up with a certain timeline. इस एज पे शादी कर लेना, इस एज पे बच्चा हो जाना चाहिए, इस एज पे बाकी सब कुछ. So therefore, I think now is the time when it's up to us to decide our timeline. Society will always have different opinions about different situations. Now we have to decide कि हमको किस opinion को अपनी energy invest करनी है. So the convention timelines have changed. I'm from the other generation altogether. So उस समय there was a difference, and I am married to a cardiologist. One of us had to step back, you know, because his profession was also such where, you know, he couldn't compromise at all. I mean, people with a pain in the chest would need immediate attention. Whereas for a lawyer, it can still sort of, you know, you can hold. So therefore, of course, now it's different. Now he's come to a level where he doesn't need to immediately go and attend, whereas, and I have come to a level where किसी का bail करना है तो करना है. So my work sort of gains priority. But that was one situation where I had to take it slow at a certain stage of my life, but then that was my choice. I didn't do it because society demanded, or I didn't do it because my parents wanted that. I did it because I wanted that. And I wanted that because I had a young child at home. I had a cardiologist for a husband. So that was the phase that I stepped back. But then as soon as I could, I bounced back. And I realized that, for men, जो उनको करने में शायद 2 साल लगे होंगे, वो मुझे 6 महीने में कवर करना है. So there was a time when I worked, बहुत मेहनत करा, 14 घंटे दिन में काम किया, 16 घंटे दिन में काम किया. And from my seniors who were like workaholics, absolutely, उनके मुंह से भी सुनना पड़ा कि इतना मेहनत मत करो. So the journey was longer and time was less, so I made up. But I think today we are in a setup where the men, with due respect to all men, and I must compliment all men in the hall, that you're much more understanding in the sense that you're there for your wives, if for them to pursue the career. So I had my own struggles. I won't call them struggles actually. I had my own choices. I made my own choices in the interest of my family, but I have no regrets. And the biases that I would have faced as my area of practice predominantly is criminal. I was a CBI lawyer for a very long time, CBI counsel. So there were my male counterparts also who were there with me. So I used to feel the difference, अगर investigating officer brief करने आया है, तो वो मुझसे मतलब की बात करेगा 2-3 मिनट, and then after some time I'll see वो वहाँ खड़े होके he's having coffee with the colleagues. तो मतलब की बात करा आपसे, and then so that's something which I used to feel कि 2 बात मुझे भी एक्स्ट्रा बता के चले जाता है, so but then that's something which I think which is okay. I mean, you come to accepting that now. Of course, I'm at a level जो किसी की हिम्मत नहीं मुझसे फालतू बात करने की, but उस समय लगता था कि
सोनिया जी से बात करते हुए तो लग रहा है कि बहुत ही वार्म एंड जेंटल हैं, बट जैसे कि उन्होंने बताया कि सीबीआई लॉयर रह चुकी हैं, क्रिमिनल केसेस हैंडल कर रही हैं. डज दिस टोन चेंज इन कोर्ट रूम, मैम?
That's something which I'm sure I can't say, maybe my juniors can. No, but I've always felt कि मतलब to put your point across ज़रूरी नहीं है कि चीखना चिल्लाना आना चाहिए. I think you can just be firm and be clear on what you want to say. I have done cases where even involving death references, मतलब death sentence award हो चुकी है, वो भी करें. So I managed with the same tone.
All right. चलिए मैम, आज अब और बात करते हैं सोशल मीडिया का. सोशल मीडिया में 2 तरीके के लोग हैं, एक इन्फ्लुएंसर्स और एक वो जो एजेंडा सेट करते हैं. और सोशल मीडिया पहले वर्डिक्ट दे देता है जजेस से, लेकिन जुडिशियल इंटीग्रिटी पर ये कितना असर करता है, और जुडिशियल इंटीग्रिटी के साथ टू मेंटेन द पब्लिक ट्रस्ट, हाउ चैलेंजिंग दैट बिकम्स फॉर जजेस एंड लॉयर्स.
See, so far as judges are concerned, they are trained to be what they are. They are sort of insulated. अगर वो impact होने लगे कि social media क्या कह रहा है या what is the public opinion, then that will be extremely damaging so far as the institution of judiciary is concerned. I can tell you there is one case that I had done which is famously called Chawla gang rape. How many of you would have heard about that? That was a case where a 19-year-old girl was kidnapped and raped and murdered by 3 boys. The case was that she was 3 boys were the ones that I was representing. So the case was कि 3 लड़कों ने उस लड़की को kidnap किया and then raped her and killed her, and they were given death sentence from the lower court. And the death sentence was confirmed by the higher court also. Supreme Court, I was appointed by the court to assist in the case, and I did that, and they were all acquitted. So there were very serious loopholes in the evidence which I was able to put before the court, and I could convince the court. Because see, the basic rule of criminal jurisprudence is that the prosecution, which is the state, has to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt, right? And so far as the defense is concerned, you have to just create a doubt. You have to just create that reasonable doubt. So I was able to create that doubt, and those 3 boys were acquitted. And in that case, the judge has recorded it. that we realize that these kind of cases can really arouse a lot of social anger and social dissatisfaction, but then we have to go by the evidence. And जहाँ तक social media की बात है, वो तो होता कुछ है और projection कुछ और होता है, because even in this case, I still remember this case was really hyped. There were a lot of hype on this case, even in the social media, news channel, सब जगह था. The father of the victim, I mean, nobody deserves that kind of a treatment. My heart goes out for that family and for their daughter, for the parents who lost their daughter in such a brutal manner. But then the father of the victim on the national television made a statement saying judges big गए पैसों के लिए, you know, which was unfortunate because अब और किसी का मुझे नहीं पता, किसी और केस में भी होता होगा ऐसा, I'm sure, but this was one case where I knew for a fact those 3 boys had legal aid lawyers at the trial court, they had legal aid lawyers in the high court, and that they had me, who was appointed by the court to assist them for no commercial consideration at all. So this is how, you know, media can sort of twist things, but so far as judges are concerned, they are trained to be insulated, and if they get impacted, I remember Wednesday used to be the PIL day, and the judges used to say that on Wednesday we don't read newspapers because they don't want their thought process to be impacted by the social opinion. So I think they are trained to be insulated, and so far as lawyers are concerned, I remember just then इस case का verdict आया था, the Chawla gang rape. I got a call next morning that, you know, there is a live debate and we want you to be there. I said, no way. I said, I'm not coming for a live debate. I said, you can ask me whatever you want virtually. I'll answer everything, but I'm not coming for the live debate because I'm not able to take the wrath of the public. You know, because, you know, the emotions do get, 19 saal ki ladki, you know, rape and murdered and you defending them. So many messages I got that day itself that you should not have appeared for those boys. So thankfully I had appeared because I was appointed by the court. I was asked by the court to do that and I didn't do it for money. So I mean, sort of sit with a straight face saying that I did my job, at least not for money.
Absolutely. So the conversation is getting serious, but yet very interesting. And let's now talk about one more contemporary topic, ma'am, conflict among courts. आज ही का ही वाक्य है इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट का. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने स्वतः संज्ञान लेते हुए इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट के फैसले को रोक लगा दिया. इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने 4 महीने पहले एक फैसला सुनाया था जहां कहा था कि एक लड़की के निजी अंगों पर हाथ लगाना रेप के अंदर नहीं आता है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा ये जज की असंवेदनशीलता है और इस पर रोक लगानी चाहिए. तो हाई कोर्ट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जब इस तरीके के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट सामने आते हैं तो पब्लिक पर इसका कितना बड़ा इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है?
MC, so far as this case is concerned, I'll hold myself slightly back because this is, I mean, I was also a part of the hearing and it is a live issue which is still pending. So I'll just tell you what exactly has happened because court ने क्या होता है कि जब पुलिस वाले चार्जशीट फाइल करते हैं एंड उस चार्जशीट के बेसिस पे कोर्ट कॉग्निजेंस लेती है और एक्यूज को समन करती है. जब समन करती है कोर्ट एक्यूज को उस समय इट इज़ ओनली अ प्राइमा फेसाई व्यू विच इज़ टेकन ओनली ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द चार्जशीट विच इज़ फाइल्ड बाय द पुलिस एंड ऑल्सो 161 statements recorded of the witnesses, which are unsigned statements, not on oath, and the witness can easily turn around and take a totally contrary view to contrary statement in the court. So therefore, that's a very basic sort of a stage. तो उस केस में कोर्ट ने ये नहीं कहा कि रेप नहीं है. कोर्ट went 2 steps ahead and said attempt to rape भी नहीं है. So that was something that, you know, if you sort of unstring the bottom of the girl and touch her chest and try to pull her under a culvert and run only because somebody has come, can it be said that it's not even attempt? And I mean, I can completely understand if it's a case where the court is deciding an appeal post conviction, no, where you have the entire evidence, सारे statements आपके पास हैं, सारी evidence आपके पास है, उस समय you can take a view कि attempt बनती है या नहीं बनती है, because attempt is mostly the state of mind, and to assess somebody's state of mind at this stage when it is just a very basic stage of summoning an accused, which I thought was not right and which even the Supreme Court thought was not correct, because it was a very first stage and the kind of observations that are made So, considering all of that, Supreme Court has said that judge has had a very insensitive sort of approach. And so far as the difference between High Court and Supreme Court is concerned, there is hierarchy of courts, right? Supreme Court being the highest court and then the High Court. So the basic principles of hierarchy of court is only this, that if one court makes a mistake, like in the earlier case when I said, those 3 boys were sentenced to death by the trial court, and then the death sentence was confirmed by the High Court. But then when in the hierarchy of court, the case comes before the highest court, which is the apex court, they took a different view considering all the evidence. So these are the safeguards which are provided in the system. So I don't think that there is really contradiction in that sense. It is just that one court is higher in position and they have a right under the constitution to correct if there's anything wrong which is happening.
Also, ma'am, let's talk about another hot topic that has different opinion, and that is Uniform Civil Code, UCC. Uttarakhand has implemented it. Now Rajasthan and Gujarat on the verge of it. What do you think the necessary step towards this legal uniformity? Will it help women in India? And what are the certain aspects that need to be carefully considered while we are implementing UCC? Because the government has planned to adopt UCC all over India very soon.
See, the Article 44 of the Constitution provides for Uniform Civil Code. And so far as Supreme Court is concerned, they have been consistently pushing this. In Shah Banu's case and Sarla Mudgal's case, Supreme Court has said that it should be done. And Goa we have a living example of Goa before us. Now the problem which I can see, I'll not talk much about this because this is again a topic which is pending before the court. So I will have some reservations. But my own assessment is that, see, our country has, we have people from different cultural backgrounds. So it may not be, there could be some conflict somewhere. So it is not something which can be easily accepted that, one law of divorce, one law of adoption will be accepted by all religions, all cultures. So I think that is where the governments are a little hesitant in implementing this. I won't say directions, but repeated expression of opinion by the Supreme Court to the effect that it should be done. To my mind, the social media is one part which is extremely difficult to regulate by law. Because this is a very sort of a subjective thing. Something may be absolutely fine for me and may not be fine for somebody else. So how would you define? Because everything that we say under Article 19, we have freedom of speech, right? Restrictions can be imposed under Article 19, sub-Article 2. The government is within its right to impose restrictions. Whatever restrictions are imposed, they are subject to scrutiny by the courts. Whatever laws are made, they are subject to scrutiny by the court, and then constitutionality of those laws, etc., is then checked. So far as day-to-day is concerned, I think freedom of speech, morality, decency, all these theories, we have to, I think as responsible citizens, we have to monitor ourselves, we have to regulate ourselves. It's very difficult to make law which can sort of say that, okay, this much and not beyond this.
Okay, let's touch upon one more topic, ma'am. Women are taking significant strides in gender diversity in international arbitration also. Number of women are being appointed as arbitrators and taking leadership roles and shaping the field. But more needs to be done. So how can we increase the number of international arbitrators, especially women?
See, so far as that is concerned, I think arbitrators are appointed by either by the parties or by the courts. So that also, I think it's a process which will take a while, because even in judiciary, if you say, so far as the lower judiciary is concerned, the representation of women is the highest. I really feel proud in saying so, because at that level, women are coming through exam. They pass the exam completely on their own, then they make it. So far as that level is concerned, I think the representation as per the internet is about 44%. And higher judiciary is the level where, you're kind of dependent on the collegium or dependent on the decisions taken by others for you. And that's why the representation is lesser. And in Supreme Court today, we only have 2 women judges. So we are getting there, and I think the process will take time. It's difficult to define.
Absolutely, ma'am. Let's come on to some facts now. 75 years after the establishment of Supreme Court, the institution has seen just 11 women judges in these corridors. The Supreme Court of India is still a man's world. As per the rule of seniority, Justice B.V. Nagaratnam will be the first women Chief Justice in 2027. But do you know for how long she'll be the Chief Justice of India? 36 days. That's it. High Court level, let's talk about that. 14.1% of all judges are women. That is 106 out of 754. The district judiciary has seen 36.3% in the workforce. There is another report that has come up from Bangalore Center for Policy and Research, which says that female judges serve less than 1 year average to male judges. That is, average age of male joining is 59.5 years, while women 60.5. Why, ma'am? Still after 75 years of independence, we are seeing significant growth, but still lot much to do. ये भावी पीढ़ी हमारे सामने बैठी है. इसमें से कई बच्चे जो हैं वो लीडिंग लॉ इंस्टीट्यूशन से पास होंगे और अपने आप को विमेन जजेस के तौर पर देखना चाहेंगे. क्या ऐसा करना देश को ज़रूरी है? क्या इस भावी पीढ़ी को करना ज़रूरी है कि आज जब हम 2047 में विकसित भारत की ओर रुख कर रहे हैं तो हम 2047 में 100% रेशो भी देखें विमेन जजेस की जुडिशरी में? मैम,
See, I started with saying that how difficult it was when the women started. जो मतलब practice करने के लिए writ file करी, to take permission and still didn't get it. So when we are talking about the past 75 years, we have to also consider the genesis, where we started, how we started. And I'm sure at that point in time, 1923, जब ये Regina Guha वाला episode हुआ, उस समय could we even imagine that they will have a woman Chief Justice of India? So we couldn't, right? But we have today. So I'm very positive about this. It's like, what was said by Nayab also, that you don't look at your glass half empty. I'm still positive about it, and I still feel that we've come a long way from where we started. And I'm sure next 75 years we'll be seeing a lot more. The issue of women coming late is concerned. As I said, we have a prescribed timeline given to girls by the families. इस उम्र में ये करना है, इस उम्र में ये करना है, इस उम्र में ये करना है. And that sort of, and then biologically, which is, I would say, a gift of God, that, women have the blessings of God to bear a child, which, man doesn't. So I don't even take that as a pushback for women. I say that's also something which we need to do. At least in earlier times, it used to bring a gap in the practice, in the work, in our professional growth, which I don't think it happens now. Now things have changed. So I'm very hopeful that next 75 years we'll be looking at much more than what we have seen in the past 75 years.
Absolutely, ma'am, absolutely. Now the question arises is, are women entitled to claim the same amount of alimony even if they are earning more than men? What's your opinion?
See, women are entitled to claim alimony, and especially when there are children involved. Alimony part is that social concept of divorce has definitely changed, because we see many more episodes now of divorce, and some people sort of say that it's because of the financial independence of the women. Honestly speaking, I don't see anything wrong with it. If you're financially independent, you can survive on your own. You have no reason to be living with somebody who is not acceptable to you. There is one very famous God man that I represent, not name. So,
though we all know.
I did couple of cases for him. So, which is fine. I got, in one case, we got acquittal for him. And so my mom-in-law told me, there are, number of cases who are against this God man. So my mom-in-law told me that, you've done these cases, which was a murder case. She said, that's fine, you've done this case for him, but don't do the rape case. So I said, why not? So she said, no, he must have done it. So I told her, I said, even if he's done it, I said, I'm a lawyer. My job ends with the file. I'm sure that could have been your next question also about the conflict, so let me deal with it at this stage only. That so far as I'm concerned, I'm a lawyer and my job ends with the file. I don't know the victim, I don't know the culprit. I don't know who's done it. So she was in fact asking me that, when you know that he's done it, how would you represent him? So I say, I don't know. that he's done it. I have no way of knowing that he's done it. I only know the file. So I don't wish to know beyond the file. And my job ends after presenting what the file contains before the judges. Then their job starts. So if judges want to acquit somebody or judges want to convict somebody, that's their domain. My job ends with doing my case, presenting my side, presenting my file. And then I told my mom-in-law, I said, even if the judges make a mistake, if you feel that a judge has made a mistake and release somebody who's actually done some offense, I said, then the God will deal with him. So let's just, leave it that.
Absolutely. Last question. I want to ask, which one case that you think has been your defining case of your career and which you think that has shaped your career as a lawyer to some other level?
See, so far as cases are concerned, I think each case is a step forward. Each case that you do takes you a different level, as in terms of information that you have, in terms of knowledge that you have. So I was a part of, I don't know how many of you would have heard the 2G scam. Probably you may not have, because it's not all that old, but yes, 2010, 11. So I was a part of that, the CBI team who was representing CBI in that 2G scam, where the accused were, although they've all been acquitted and the appeal is pending, so again, I'm little constrained to talk about that, but just that was one case where the accused were politicians and the businessmen and the public servants. So it was a very multifaceted sort of a case. So that was one. And emotionally, a case which sort of shook me is there was one case which I was doing where where a 2.5-year-old girl was raped and she died in the process. So I was again appointed by the court to represent the accused in that case. So that was tough, but I could handle it because I just sort of thought that I don't know the accused. The victim, of course, I used to feel horrible just thinking that, I used to just feel that even if whether this guy has done it or somebody else has done it, but this has been done. A 2.5-year-old girl has been raped and she's lost her life. And then there was another one which was a 9.5-year-old girl who was raped and killed by her own uncle. So, like I said, that I have nothing to do with the accused, because at that level, at the Supreme Court level, I'm not dealing with clients, I'm not dealing with anybody who's in sort of direct line of offense. But this was one case where this person was in Jabalpur jail and we wanted a report on how he's doing in jail. So I requested the court to get the report, but they said that, no, you talk to him. So I had e-mulaqat with him. Supreme Court registry arranged for a virtual meeting for me with that convict. And when I was face to face with him, I couldn't sleep the entire night. I just kept wondering that, I am dropped or at least commuted to life imprisonment. What if he's done it? So I didn't sleep the entire night. And next day I did tell the judges that, you made me speak to the convict. Some argument with regard to standards of the society. So that's when I told the judges, I said, see, moral standards you can't define because it is very different. From person to person it varies. Something may be wrong for me, something may not be wrong for somebody else. So I said, you made me speak to the convict and I didn't sleep the whole night. So I said, before that I was just doing my job. It impacts in a certain way. So every case makes you,
more strong.
Sleeping with a lot of silks and jewelry and all of that. And Pakistani plays, I feel, are more realistic in that sense.
Lawyer's life in 3 words.
Lawyer's life in 3 words?
3 words.
Lack of sleep, justice, and courtrooms.
Okay, very nice. Finally, when can we expect your biography to be published and what would you name it?
Oh, wow. I think I'll wait for somebody else to do it once I go.
Okay, at the end, what is the secret of your energy, ma'am?
Secret of my energy?
Yeah.
I think I'm just content and happy because I don't believe in dieting. I eat what I want, and I think that reflects on my face because like Nayab said, I love myself. Don't give up ever. Don't give up at all. no matter what. And never feel that because you have a gap for whatever reasons, whatever family commitments, whatever biological commitments, if you feel you missed out on some time, it's never too late. You can always bounce back and bounce back with full energy, full vigor. So never lose trust in yourself and never feel that you've lost on time. You never lose on time. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for hearing me.